Is it home? Is it home? Don't you just always want to do that when the microphone starts going? Okay, now the little red dot comes up with the battery being almost dead. Oh my gosh, okay. We're just gonna go through okay, hold on. Wow, I'm terrible at this. Okay, hi. Welcome back to the channel 3 C's of Me, Conviction, Cognition, Copy. Today we're going to talk about this little tiny little thing that most people know as emotion. Yeah, it's not very well known. No one really knows what it is or anything. Yeah. All that aside, how do we deal with emotions? You know what's cool? They're so unpredictable, and you just never know what someone's going to do when they get emotional. Emotions are they're just so awesome. You think I'm being sarcastic? No, I'm actually not. I think emotions are great, and I will spend the rest of this video talking about what I think about emotions, and maybe more videos will be explaining why I think they're great and what we should do with them. Stay tuned for more. So some questions. Should emotions run our lives? No. Should we be afraid of emotions? No. Should we use emotions to get what we want? No. You keep telling me all these things I shouldn't do. Well, what should I do? Glad you asked so kindly. Here's a list of 5 things I think we should do about emotions. We should talk about them. We should understand them. We should experience them, and we should validate them. And oh, that was only 4. Whatever. Here's 4 things. I already said them. Whatever. Do I need to define the terms on this one? Yeah, I probably should. So what are emotions? What are they exactly? How do we define them? Well, the dictionary calls them the affective aspect of consciousness, state of feeling, or a conscious mental reaction, such as anger or fear, subjectively experienced as strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. The affective aspect of consciousness. Wow, did we just stumble on the consciousness here? Yeah, I think we did. Okay, yeah. No, I'm not defining consciousness in this video. Maybe in another one, or 20. I'll put it on my ever-increasing list of things to do. By the way, if you want to, subscribe and share and ask some questions to get that, that would be awesome. Just to, if you feel so inclined. Back to emotions. Okay, so emotions are conscious mental reactions subjectively experienced. Emotions are reactions. They are conscious. They are subjective. They are experiences. All of this means that they happen in the brain, and they are unique to that brain. They are reactions in a person's mind, and the chemicals and the neurotransmitters in the mind are being released, and they're not under the control of the person's brain. Now, before you take this and say, there it is, I can't control what I feel, it's science. Slow down, Turbo. No, we can't control when or why the brain releases chemicals. Sometimes we can induce it, like playing that song that takes you back by Fergie or Akon or Nickelback. If I gave a dime to the number of friends that would admit that Far Away gives them that feeling of nostalgia, I'd only get a nickel back from them. But just because we can't control how our brains react and work, that doesn't mean that we're not responsible for how we act. Notice that emotion happens in the brain. Now, it may cause you to smile or cry or maybe cause some other physiological thing, but the behavior is not the same as the emotion. Now, animals could be argued to experience emotions like us if emotion is just boiled down to chemicals being released in the brain. However, all animals lack a certain aspect that we humans don't. That would be an extra set of indistinguishably colored grayish matter in the brain called the prefrontal cortex. This massive extra brain tissue allows us to think differently than other animals. We can detach our bodies from the puppet strings of emotion and instinct. We're not slaves to biology. I mean, if we are, well, look at what humans have done. in a couple thousand years. I mean, I don't think the raptors would have built particle accelerators if the meteor didn't wipe them out. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm just saying, I think humans are distinct. You can tell me I'm wrong on that. It's fine. Anyway, we have this extra machinery behind our foreheads that helps us not be slaves to emotions. Oh, trigger warning. I said slave. Sorry. I'm glad you brought up that aspect of being easily offended. I know you can't help it if you feel offended. I understand that. But I do know that you can control what you do once you have become offended. Does that also offend you? Sorry, I mean, is it my job to censor myself so that you're never offended? How is that possible, actually? If you actually feel that way, leave some comments below, kind of describing what that looks like to you. If you do say that I should never offend anyone, I'll probably respond by saying something like, well, the most current research suggests that gender and sex are not actually independent of each other, and the Earth is billions of years old. See, I can offend religious and non-religious and liberal and conservative people alike. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. I'm willing to have a rational conversation about it. We can talk about these things, and we can just, we'll go at it using our prefrontal cortexes, not our amygdalas or our base primal instincts and emotions. During this rational discussion that I would love to have with you, I would like you to remember that though you cannot control what you feel in those moments, you can control what you do about it. So I say something that makes you angry. The Earth is 3 billion years old. What do? Do you A, tell me that I'm wrong and refuse to listen to me? Do you B, get up and storm away? Do you C, take a deep breath and say, oh, okay, wow, you must not be a real Christian? Or something like, oh, okay, wow, you must hate transgender people. Or D, do you take a couple of seconds, collect your thoughts and say, I hear what you're saying, but I disagree, and what you said actually upsets me. Get this, you can be upset without actually acting upset. No, it's perfectly doable. I'm not going to be like, well, you say you're upset, but you don't look upset, so you're probably not upset. No, that's a jerk move, and people shouldn't do that. No, no. If you say, I'm upset, or that makes me mad, or that makes me angry, or that hurts, then the ball is then at my court, and what I do next can make or break the conversation. What will I personally do? I would be like, I'm sorry, actually, I didn't mean to upset you. Let me rephrase that better. Let me explain what I mean by that, because I don't hate Christians or anyone, or transgender people, or liberals. I don't hate people anyway, at all. So let me explain myself better, because I obviously didn't do a good enough job. My intent is not to hurt you. Then the ball is back in your court, and then what you do next can make the conversation go forward or not. See how this works? It's a back and forth. It's called a conversation. If we don't shut down dissenting opinions, then we can actually get to real issues, because it's not about me hating people. It's about how I'm phrasing it. It's about how I'm communicating. That's the more important piece. If you just shut it down and say, oh, you just hate everybody, well, that's not the real issue, because no, I don't hate people. Do I say things wrong? Yes. Do I make mistakes? Yes, but I don't hate people. So if we can get to the real issue, then we can make progress. Going on from there. If we let emotions keep us from having real conversations, then we'll never get anywhere ever. So we need real conversations to happen in this country, and the government, schools, colleges, churches, homes, everywhere. Everyone from every walk of life needs to get a place at the table and be heard. And we can express our emotions in healthy ways. And if you want me to dive into this more deeply, leave comments below with questions. We can talk about it. I will do my best to articulate the things in the best way that I can, and help other people come up with ways to articulate how they're thinking and feeling as well. I want to bring everyone to the table, essentially, and be able to talk about convictions with cognitive ability over a cup of coffee. So those are my thoughts. I will continue to do videos on these types of things. You want your input, you want to be heard, you want me to take on an issue, leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel, leave a like, do all those things. Until next time, be reasonable people.